Welcome to our commercial advertising photography class. I'm glad you've joined us. In this lesson, we will learn about the photographic characteristics and techniques of porcelain, cosmetics, and plastic products. These products are also reflective, and their characteristics are quite similar, so we will discuss them together. They can be divided into opaque products and semi-transparent ones. Porcelain, cosmetics, and most plastic products have smooth surfaces, but they don't have mirror-like reflection as electroplated products do. Therefore, when shooting and lighting them, we do not need to worry too much about the surroundings being reflected. For opaque subjects, when setting up lighting, the main light should use soft, diffused light. Depending on the shape of products, especially the curvature, we can use reflectors to control the contrast between highlights and shadows. By using small direct light sources, we can create small highlights to delineate the shape and emphasize the texture. Some plastic products, like lipsticks or cosmetics with electroplated lids, have high glossiness. Their surfaces are clear and can reflect bright colors and light sources. For such products, we can refer to the lighting techniques for electroplated products, using softening tools like tracing paper to achieve desired results. As for semi-transparent products, backlighting can be used to emphasize their translucency. The portrayal of those products can be achieved with three main conditions. First, a proper dark background. Second, illumination from behind to create highlights. Third, fill in light from the front or sides to highlight their texture. Now let's take a look at the case study for this lesson. It features a semi-transparent cosmetic product and uses extremely narrow beams of light to depict the product and the background behind it. In terms of light position, there is a small highlight on the left front side of the product at about 45 degrees, creating a narrow beam of light that illuminates the front half of the product, particularly the brand area. On the right side, there's a rear contouring light at approximately 130 degrees. To establish the relationship between the product and the background, the third light source is a narrow blue light behind the product. This narrow light effectively separates the product from the background. These are the three main light sources we see in this image, and we'll set up the lighting based on this arrangement. As for accessory tools for all three light sources, it's advisable to choose those that create extremely narrow lighting. To achieve this, we can use a standard reflector along with a honeycomb grid to create a more focused and narrow lighting effect. If the honeycomb grid's small light beams are not achieving the desired effect, we can make our own smaller light sources. To achieve the desired result, we can create such lighting effect later when we take a shot. As for the shooting angle, we can choose an angle below 0 degrees, which is an upward perspective. Let's analyze the aperture for the image. In terms of camera settings, it uses an aperture that can create a bit of blurring. Since there is depth to the scene, an aperture of around f11 would work well, with a shutter speed of a 125th seconds and an ISO of 100. For the lens, we still use the 100mm lens, as it can better capture textures of the product. When creating a blue-themed environment and layout, we can use an additional tool, the blue PVC paper. This is the paper you see behind the setup, and it possesses a plastic-like texture, while avoiding strong reflections. This material can help us get the desired effect. Another point to note is the part that protrudes from the surface of the cosmetics. This part gives the impression of fullness, even though the actual product might not be that full. How can we achieve this effect? We can use toothpaste of a similar color as a substitute. Squeeze out a bit to create the appearance of fullness and the feeling that this product is cost-effective. These are some techniques for shooting cosmetics. After completing the analysis above, it's time to find the light sources. We can still use the flashlight method to locate the mentioned light sources in the frame. On site, I'll continue to use the LED lights with higher power instead of a flashlight to locate the light sources. Let's now pinpoint the exact positions of the three light sources. First, let's locate the contouring light source. The light on the right side is approximately at a highlight angle of 140 degrees. For the second light, let's look at the light on the left side. The left light's position is around the front highlight position. Lastly, the third light is for the background. The direction of this light should be towards the background. By moving the light, we can find the approximate position for the third light source. These are the positions for the three lights. We will arrange the lighting accordingly and capture their individual effects. Alright, let's proceed with the lighting setup, based on the positions we discussed earlier. First, let's take a look at the contour light at the back. We'll take a shot to see the effect. Now we can see the contouring light at the back, which emphasizes the outline of the product. Moving on to the second light, the small and narrow background light source. We'll capture its effect. Since the background light source is very small and narrow, the honeycomb grid isn't able to narrow down the light further. In such cases, we can create a self-made, narrower snoot using black cardboard to make a funnel. We'll place it over the standard reflector with the honeycomb grid to achieve a narrower beam of light. Let's see the result. Alright, now we have this narrow light effect in the frame. With this effect, we'll combine the background's narrow light and the contouring light on the right side to see their combined effect. Now we have the narrow background light and the contour light from the right side. Now, to complete the setup, we'll replicate the front light as well. We also use a standard reflector with a honeycomb grid in the front, but the light beam might not be as narrow as desired. Let's capture an image with this setup to get a sense of the front light. At this point, we can see that the light illuminates the entire product. However, it still differs from our sample image, where there's specific local brightness in the front. Therefore, we'll continue using our self-made snoot to achieve this desired effect. After arranging the position, let's capture another shot. Throughout the process of meticulously searching for and crafting light sources, the most important is to emphasize the product's shape, features, texture, spatial sense, and the curvature of its surfaces, all to create different visual effects, to shape, isolate the background, and enhance the sharpness of the structure. We can use standard reflectors as the side, back, contour lights, and backlights. These help outline the product. In this lesson, we've focused on the photographic methods for porcelain, cosmetics, and plastic products. This allows us to understand the reflective characteristics and shooting techniques for these products. We provide practice sample images in the course materials. Hope you'll take the time to practice and interact with me actively through comments.